How did we go from a nameless prisoner rotting in the Imperial dungeons
You, prisoner, stand aside. Over by the window. Stay out of the way and you won't get hurt.
to being named the eternal champion of the entire empire?
Thou art named the eternal champion. From thy hand shall be dealt the needs of the empire.
And how did another prisoner go from about to getting his head chopped off
What in Oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
to literally killing the World Eater himself? It seems this franchise is a thing for starting characters at the basement of rock bottom and forging them into legends. Yeah, today we're covering the entire story of the Elder Scrolls. From the very first prisoner who saved the Empire in Arena, through the political madness of Daggerfall, the prophecy-fulfilling journey of Morrowind, to the dragon-slaying adventures of Skyrim. And yeah, we're even hitting the weird spin-offs that try to turn Elder Scrolls into everything from a dungeon crawler to a card game. 30 years of lore, 5 spectacular mainline games, 4 spin-offs. Let's dive in, shall we? The Elder Scrolls Arena dropped way back in 1994, created by Bethesda Softworks. This is where it all started, folks. Our very first entry into the world of Elder Scrolls. The game runs on MS-DOS. And yeah, no, it's a very ancient game. But it was massive for its time since it features a playable continent of Tamriel. It's literally 6 million square miles. It's insane. The year is 3E389. The E stands for era. Each era stands when something massive reshapes history, then they reset the clock. Think of it like BC and 80, except instead of religious figures, it's dead emperors and world-ending wars. The continent of Tamriel has been at peace for 500 years under the rule of Emperor Uriel Septim VII. But things are about to go sideways. Jagar Tharn, the Imperial battle mage, has been plotting something sinister. He's jealous of the power yielded by the Emperor and wants the throne for himself. The enemy is always closer than you think, you know? Tharn's apprentice is Rhea Silmain. She discovers Tharn's plot and gets killed for it. However, she's not forever gone to the afterlife. Her spirit lingers in the living world, making her our guide throughout the game. The player character is not somebody of much importance, just a mere low-ranking member of the Imperial Court who's thrown into the Imperial dungeons to die when Tharn takes over. The stakes are pretty high. Tharn is the Staff of Chaos, a powerful artifact that he broke into 8 pieces and scattered them across the realm. Only by reassembling it can we free the rightful Emperor and put an end to Tharn's rule. The game begins with you locked in a cell in the Imperial dungeons. You're supposed to die here, but lucky for you, the ghost of Rhea Silmain appears and gives you the realm's hot gossip. Tharn betrayed Emperor Uriel Septim VII and General Talon Warhaft. He trapped them in another dimension and took the throne.
Do not fear for a denial. Rhea Silmain. Listen to me. There are no others left to carry on this fight.
Rhea magically creates a ruby key and tells you to escape through the sewers. Your character then proceeds to grab the key, unlock the cell, and navigate through the sewers. You will encounter some weak enemies like rats and goblins. It's nothing too brutal, just enough to teach you how the combat system works.
This cell, then tower. You will find a shift gate.
When you reach the end of the sewers, there's a shift gate, which is a magical portal that teleports you out of the Imperial City to a safe place in the province of Skyrim. Once you escape and take a rest in an inn, Rhea pays a visit in your dreams one more time. She unravels the full plan. Tharn shattered the Staff of Chaos into 8 pieces and hid them across Tamriel. The staff is the only thing powerful enough to free the Emperor from his dimensional prison. Your job? Find all 8 pieces. It's pretty simple, right?
It is time we began this journey. This is the Staff of Chaos.
Rhea informs you that the first piece is hidden in Fang Lair, an old Dwemer fortress in Hammerfell. The fortress was taken over by worms ages ago. She does not know its exact location. You gotta find it. Quest away, brave hero. Remember, as you play and fight goblins, you're rewarded with gold, which you use to upgrade your arsenal and inventory as you progress. You then travel to the province of Hammerfell, start asking some NPCs what they've heard about Fang Lair. A lady directs you to Queen Blubumpka in the city of Rihad. She knows where the Fang Lair is, but you must do something in return. Nothing is free in this world. She says that a goblin named Galthog the Dark has stolen a scroll from her palace. It contains the location of the Fang Lair, and she wants it retrieved by Stonekeep. You've no other option but to agree here. Come on. She holds the cards to your request. You then proceed to enter the dungeon of Stonekeep, which is crawling with all sorts of abominations like goblins and rats and wolves. The goal is to locate the stolen scroll. You face minor challenges from these foul beasts, as you can slay them pretty effortlessly. Honestly, at this point, I'm getting a little sick of killing rats and just general beasts. You retrieve the scroll and return it to the queen, who's happy you've emerged victorious. As promised, she marks Fang Lair on your map. You next make your way to Fang Lair, a majestic hold in Hammerfell. It is a 2-level dungeon. The first level is a maze with tons of dark tunnels and chambers. You make your way through as you fight orcs. Guess it's kind of a level up from goblins. The dungeon also has riddles. One of them involves 3 cells, and you're supposed to figure out which one holds a gold key. The correct answer is cell 2. You obtain the gold key, open the door to the second level. Next, you're presented with another riddle. Why you gotta do so much brainstorming in the middle of a skeleton-filled dungeon? The answer is glove, and you enter the riddle door. You thought you'd be safe, right? Well, guess again. What awaits you behind the riddle door are hellhounds. Tough, fire-breathing monsters. You engage them in a fearsome battle, and once you defeated them, you can finally claim the prize. The glowing first piece of the Staff of Chaos. 1 down, 7 pieces to go. Man, this journey has just begun. Rhea appears in your dreams and informs you that the second piece is in Labyrinthian, a humongous maze built by the Archmage Shalador to guard the secret of life. You travel all the way to Skyrim and begin asking about the whereabouts of the place. You're directed to the Mages Guild, where you will meet a wizard named Thelen Karn, who knows the location of the Labyrinthian. As usual, he can't just hand it to you just like that. You gotta toil over it. He requests that you retrieve a tablet stolen from the Fortress of Ice after an attack by knights. The tablet is an essential component to completing the map to Labyrinthian. You then travel to the Fortress of Ice, which is a 2-level dungeon filled with knights, ice wolves, and ice golems. For those of you who are curious, ice golems are a huge pain in the ass. Literally. These things seem not to die and cause a hell of a lot of damage when they swing at you, but I suppose that's what I asked for when I said I was sick of goblins and rats. You need at least elven-grade weapons just to hurt them at all. After killing the golems, navigate through the ice-cold walls and grab the tablet from a locked room. You then return to Thelen, who marks the Labyrinthian on your map. When you enter the multi-level dungeon of Labyrinthian, you need to find keys held by ghosts of 2 brothers, Kanan the Elder and Mogris the Dim. Answer their riddles and retrieve both keys. Afterwards, you use the keys to unlock the second chamber and face a ghost who is a guardian of the second piece of the Staff of Chaos. You defeat the ghost, and you finally lay hands upon the second piece of the Staff of Chaos, a magnificent piece of burning relic. 2 down, 6 more to go. Rhea, with her echo-like voice and angelic aura, appears and tells you the third piece is in the Elden Grove, which is the sacred birthplace of the first tree that gave life to all forests in Tamriel. It is hidden somewhere in Valenwood, home of the Wood Elves.
Find the Elden Grove and recover the third piece of the staff. I wish you well on your quest.
You make your way to Valenwood and find Queen Olandra in the city of Eldenroot. She knows where the grove is, but surprise, surprise, you have to do something for her. What's up with these people? Always asking for favors. Anyway, she requests you to kill a powerful sorceress called Celine and bring back her heart, a glowing jewel that is the source of her life. You make your way into Celine's web, a dungeon filled with huge poisonous spiders. Fight them alongside the ghosts and ghouls and eventually reach Celine's heart. Grab it and escape with it to the queen, who will reveal the location of the Elden Grove. The Elden Grove dungeon is truly one of a kind. The first level is set on the outskirts of a misty forest. This is way less claustrophobic than the other dungeons we've dealt with before. In the second level, you hop on a boat and navigate through underground lakes to avoid the monsters lurking around. You will then answer 2 riddles correctly, kill a bunch of scary ghosts, and behold, the third piece of the Staff of Chaos is yours to take. Okay, 3 down, 5 to go. Once again, in your lovely dreams, Rhea reveals the 4th piece in the halls of Colossus, an enormous fortress built by giants. Yeah, giants. It sits on a cliff in southern Tamriel, and once again, you go back to the road and head towards elsewhere to investigate. You arrive at the city of Corinth, where you meet Turamain, a wizard at the Mages Guild. He knows where the halls of Colossus is, but no, he can't tell you for free. You gotta do something in return. The wizard tells you to retrieve a tablet that was stolen by the priests of Agamannus. This tablet is located in the temple of Agamannus. You travel to the temple, begin the search for the tablet. The temple is filled with knights and monsters, which you carve your way through to reach the tablet. You grab it, return to Turamain, who marks the halls of Colossus on your map. You then go to the halls, where you solve several riddles and math puzzles, before you finally reach the 4th piece. Grab it from the center chamber and escape. and now you're halfway there. 4 more to go. Rhea says the 5th piece is in the Crystal Tower, an ancient stronghold of sorcery located in the Somerset Isles. When you reach there, you will meet Kareem, a wizard who knows where the Crystal Tower is. But first, you have to retrieve a diamond from the Temple of the Mad God, which was stolen when he was attacked. You head into the temple, and it is shockingly the fastest dungeon so far. Navigate through several hallways, answer a simple riddle, grab the diamond, and then escape. The easiest you've handled compared to the previous ones. Or so you thought. After you grab the diamond, if you are unlucky, you will encounter an iron golem on the way out. The golem is so strong that your weapons are absolutely no match for it at all. You need mithril grade gear to defeat it. You have no option but to run past it and escape the temple. Return the diamond to Corum, and the Crystal Tower will be revealed on your map. Head to the location and answer a few riddles correctly, fight your way through some ghosts, and claim the 5th piece of the staff. Rhea appears and tells you the 6th piece is in the Crypt of Hearts, but she has no clue where it is located. Okay, great. You head to High Rock, where you find Brother Halphus and the Brotherhood of Seth Temple. He tells you that a monk named Brother Martinus went mad, killed somebody, and fled to the mines of Curris. He has the only scroll that has the location of the crypt, so you have no option but to head there. The mines are filled with lava pits and lakes, and the walls are worn out from the constant exposure to magma and ash. Make your way there, and at the end of the mines, you will find the deceased body of Brother Martinus. Grab the scroll, return it to Halphus, who will show you where the crypt is. Head to the Crypt of Hearts, which entails strange inscriptions. You'll fight stone golems, which are ferocious creatures, beat them alongside the fire demons, and grab the 6th piece and escape. 6 down, 2 more to go. Rhea says that the 7th piece is in Mirkwood, a dark forest found in Black Marsh. Make your way to Stormhold, and you'll ask around for the directions to the nearest temple. You'll be directed to the Conclave of Baal, where you will enter and meet Eidolon, the leader. He tells you to look for the tablet needed to find Mirkwood, which was buried after the collapse of the Vaults of Gemen. He asks you to retrieve it, and off you go. You reach the Vaults of Gemen, which is a 2-level dungeon that has flooded chambers and islands. In there, you'll fight with golems and ghosts, and as you progress, you will answer a riddle correctly. Grab the tablet, return to Eidolon. He then reveals the location of Mirkwood. You enter Mirkwood, begin fighting fire demons. Defeat them, head to the locked cells, where you will answer 2 riddles correctly. The cell doors will open, and you can now grab the 7th piece. Jagar Tharn himself appears in your dreams and reveals that he knows where you are and where the final piece of the staff is.
As you may already know,
The final piece of the staff is in Daggerfall, in the province of Morrowind.
Bro is his own worst enemy. You proceed to Morrowind, where you meet King Kasich in Ebonheart. He tells you about the Hammer of Garen, which, when struck on the Anvil of Mythos, reveals the location of Daggerfall. The hammer is in Blackgate, so you make your way there. The Blackgate is a 2-level dungeon that has water channels and the usual enemies. Fight them, grab the hammer, return to the king, and he will mark Daggerfall on your map. Now, Daggerfall is the hardest dungeon of them all. Its 3 levels are very hard to beat. Besides your normal enemies like wolves and golems, there's also a Medusa. This is among the toughest enemies in the game. Defeat them all, and he'll answer the final riddle that will lead you to the final piece. You now have all 8 pieces. Jagar Tharn reveals that the staff is drained of power, so it looks like you are headed to the Imperial City for one final showdown. You travel to the Imperial City and enter the palace. Jagar Tharn appears and starts taunting you.
what? As you blundered your way into this place. At one time, I even considered approaching you with an offer.
You enter the palace dungeon and begin fighting knights and iron golems. You then head to a lava lake where you swim through and climb up to face another formidable opponent, a vampire. After defeating the creature, you then make your way into the northwestern cage, where there is a mithril key that unlocks the northeastern cage. Inside is the Jewel of Fire, which is Tharn's life force. Grabbing the jewel kills Tharn. At last, the final boss is dead. A portal opens up, and Emperor Ural Septim VII is released, free at last. He thanks you, and you are named the Eternal Champion of the Empire. And that's it, folks. It's the entire story of the Elder Scrolls Arena. This is the game that started it all. I know it looks pretty primitive compared to what we have today, but I think it's important to show respect for what came before, you know? Alright, The Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall dropped in 1996, just 2 years after the first one. Bethesda decided, you know what, let's take everything we learned from the first game and crank it up a little bit. This time around, instead of traveling all across the vast Tamriel, we'll focus on 2 provinces, High Rock and Hammerfell, specifically the Iliac Bay region. The year is 3E405. Emperor Ural Septim VII, the same old guy we busted our ass saving in Arena, has 2 major problems. Firstly, King Lysandus of Daggerfall was killed in battle, but instead of resting in peace, his ghost is haunting the streets at night with his spectral army screaming for one thing: vengeance. Nobody in the realm knows why. Secondly, the Emperor sent a personal letter to somebody in Daggerfall many years ago, but it never arrived, so he wants the letter found and destroyed. Apparently, it contains top secret and private stuff. I wonder what it could be. So, being the eternal champion of the Empire, he sends you to the Iliac Bay region to solve both mysteries. As you embark on your adventures, a supernatural storm hits your ship and it gets wrecked. You wash up in a cave, and a mudslide seals you inside. What a wonderful start. Very epic. The only way out? Fight through the dungeon called Privateer's Hold. You wake up disoriented and confused in a dark cave. It's basically your tutorial dungeon. Privateer's Hold is filled with all sorts of weird creatures like skeletons, imps, and human enemies. It's nothing too intense, but I gotta say, I'm really glad that it's not rats. At least, not yet. You learn the combat system and figure out how to use your inventory as you navigate through the winding corridors of the hold. After fighting your way through the corridor, you finally see daylight and escape into the Iliac Bay. The entire world of Daggerfall is now open. It's massive. I'm talking the size of Great Britain with over 15,000 towns, cities, and dungeons. You could literally walk to your destination if you wanted to. But nah, not a wise choice considering you have the option of fast travel. You then head to the city of Daggerfall, check into a tavern. Not long after, a courier locates you, hands you a letter. The letter is from Lady Brisciana, the Emperor's agent in the court. She requests to meet you, gives you a month to show up. Queen Abiki herself contacts you. Apparently, word has spread about your professionalism, capabilities, and discretion. We're becoming quite a hero. She's got a quest for you. It's not something you're used to, so you've got to meet her. Her request is pretty simple on the surface. King Gothred's grandmother, Queen Mother Nafalga, had recently gone crazy. I mean, completely nuts. Bonkers. She's isolated herself in Castle She Dungeoned, located in the Rothgarian Mountains, and spends most of her time running dangerous magical experiments. No one's heard from her in some time, and Abiki wants to know 2 things. Is Nafalga alive, and is she still insane? She asks you to be her champion and venture into this quest. Of course, you have to agree. We know from the previous games how royals like using people to run their weird errands. She gives you the details and gives you 150 days to go and return with feedback. It's a pretty generous timeline. You make your way to the Rothgarian Mountains and locate the castle. You then enter the dungeon and make your way through the long corridors. Climb a bunch of stairs when we finally see Nafalga. And oh my word, what a sight. She looks like she hasn't seen the walls of a bathroom in months. She looks alive, but the wellness part is where the problem is. She tries communicating with you, but her words are just pure gibberish. Maybe a 2-year-old child could decipher her words. They make no sense at all. I mean, who even understand what she's saying? Anyway, your mission is complete, that's what matters. She's alive and breathing. You leave the dungeon, make your way back to Abiki, and report your sightings to her. She is shocked that you succeeded at all. She gives you a longbow as a reward. There's something about Daggerfall that can really mess with new players. The main quest is heavily locked behind your character level. For you to proceed with other quests, you need to hit level 3. If not, the next quests will not even trigger. The game does not progress until you've leveled up enough, so you've got no option but to grind. I feel like people who grew up on this game are like, yeah, all the new games, the Skyrim and the Fable, I mean, they just hold your hand, man. Like, there's no need to have actual skill in those games. Brother, you can keep Daggerfall. This game sucks. After reaching level 3, finally, you receive a letter from Princess Morgia of Wayrest, which is one of the major kingdoms of the Iliac Bay. She wants to meet you personally in the castle, so you make your way there. On arrival in the Eastern Kingdom, you enter the Grand Castle and the princess awaits. She's known for being sharp, calculating, and playing the political game at a high level. She knows everything about everyone in the Iliac Bay. She knows about the Emperor's letter. She's willing to tell you what she knows. But first, you gotta do something for her. And that, folks, is not an easy task for the faint of heart. She hands you her own letter and tells you to deliver it to the King of Worms, a very dangerous individual. He's a powerful necromancer and lich who reigns in Scourge Barrow, one of the ancient crypts in the Dragon Tail Mountains. She also warns you that whatever it is in the dungeon does not know about your arrival. So you're gonna face a bunch of enemies, including his undead servants. Yeah, no, that sucks. But could you do it in a month and return to me? Anyway, you travel to Scourge Barrow by horse and enter the ominous Black Crypt. The large fortress is the only structure around, and now your dungeon crawl begins. You enter the first room, you're greeted with a scary sight. The room is filled with about half a dozen white coffins. You interact with the coffins and lift the lids. 2 of them have a secret passage leading down, so you go down one of them. Go down the dungeon on high alert with your sword out. It's here that you get a taste of the difficulty levels of the dungeon. Face a bunch of mummies who swarm over you several times. They're formidable opponents, take a lot of skill to kill. You fight through them, proceed deeper in the dungeon. You're also met with giant bats, which are quite easy to kill, honestly. Don't even break a sweat killing these weak-ass guys. After several trial and error, and a bit of death if you're unlucky, you reach the court of the King of Worms. Sight is honestly pretty intimidating. Before you reach the throne, however, you're welcome with the presence of liches, necromancers, vampires, and of course the living dead. Beautifully chaotic cocktail of all manner of horrific creatures. Others are standing tall on guard, while others are seductively dancing. You come to the presence of the King of Worms and speak with him. He hands you his response to Morgia. You quickly head out of the godforsaken dungeon back to safety. You return to the princess, who's excited that you've succeeded. She holds up her end of the bargain and tells you that the Emperor's letter was stolen from Queen Abiki and later sold to the orc warlord Gortwog. She also adds that you should make peace with Minisira, the former Queen of Daggerfall and the Queen Mother to Gothfrid, if you really want to find that letter. It's a pretty important clue right there. She's basically giving you a roadmap for navigating the complex politics of Daggerfall's royal court. When you reach level 6, you will continue with your investigation into the Emperor's letter. You will speak with Sindasa, a maid in Castle Daggerfall. She has valuable information regarding the letters of the Emperor to the Queen. You thought you would get the information free of charge? Oh, have you learned nothing from this game? Nothing is free. She demands something from you. She wants you to slay a werewolf located in a hole called the Hold of Mooring. She gives you 14 days to do it. You make your way to the Hold of Mooring, which is in a foggy, barren land. Enter the dungeon and begin fighting skeletons and ghosts. You finally reach the werewolf and strike it with your weapon and watch as the body transforms into a young man who has a very close physical similarity to Sindasa. Pretty weird. You return to Daggerfall and speak to Sindasa about the death of the werewolf. He reveals to you that that was his brother. He wanted to put an end to his brother's misery, a death of love. As you progress through the game, you'll be constantly leveling up on both your powers, weapons, and also your skills. When you finally hit level 10, Medora Dereni contacts you telepathically, kind of like good old Rhea. She says you've been working to put Lysandus' spirit to rest, and she can be of assistance to you. She has also discovered a powder that will soothe his ghost long enough for you to speak to him, but the powder is not within her grasp, it's in the hands of Gortwog in Orsinium. You travel to Orsinium and talk to Gortwog, who is surprisingly pretty agreeable. He reveals that the powder, known as the Dust of Restful Death, is located in Greensley Hall on the Isle of Balfira. You head there and begin exploring. You enter the dungeon and are met with several wraiths whom you slay with ease. You proceed deeper into the dungeon as you kill knights and wraiths along the way. After several minutes of searching, you come across a mummy and begin fighting with it. You kill it, loot its corpse, which contains the powder. On top of the powder, you also find a shocking letter that reveals Lysandus and Gortwog were allies, and the orcs were not villains. They're trying to prevent a murder. Quickly, you head back to Dereni Tower on Balfira and give Medora the powder and Gortwog's letter. She's grateful and confirms the powder is indeed the Dust of Restful Death. She tells you to come back after 1 month when the powder is ready for use. 1 month later, you go back to Dereni Tower to meet Medora. She informs you that the powder is ready and all you have to do is sprinkle it on the corpse of Lysandus. Since you already know where the king was buried, it's quite easy for you to make your way there. In the region of Menivia, there's a dungeon literally called Lysandus' Tomb. Can't get more obvious than that. You make your way there and begin crawling through the dungeon. The tomb is a huge one, full of intersections and many staircases going up and down. Enemies are lurking behind every corner. From skeletons to spiders and zombies, you name it. You walk further down the crypt until you reach a large, unique chamber that looks like somewhere a king might rest. It's very regal, you know? You discover a secret passage that goes further down, and you discover the majestic Lysandus' coffin, guarded by skeletal warriors. You slice through the warriors and approach the stone slab, sprinkling the dust on the corpse. The coffin opens up, and his skeleton levitates out. He speaks to you clearly. and reveals that he seeks vengeance against the person who slew him, Lord Woodbourne of Wayrest. There you have it. The killer of Lysandus. You travel to Woodbourne Hall in Wayrest and enter the dungeon. You fight a bunch of our usual creatures, orcs, human enemies, and centaurs. You finally enter a small room and see Lord Woodbourne. He immediately attacks you. You slay the Lord, and there you have it. You have successfully avenged Lysandus. After traveling for a couple of weeks, you are intercepted by a courier with a letter from Lady Brysiana. She wants to meet you at the White Porcupine in Eastshire. You travel there and meet her. She tells you that the totem of Tiber Septim has been found in the possession of Lord Woodbourne. However, she believes King Gothred of Daggerfall currently has it, and it is in Daggerfall Treasury. You accept the mission in exchange for the Warlock's Ring, a very powerful artifact. You go to Castle Daggerfall and proceed to the dungeon. The enemies are similar to the ones you faced in Woodbourne Hall. You make your way up and down the dungeon and reach the cube that contains the totem. As soon as you pick it up, the totem speaks to you telepathically. It says you are now its host and are unworthy of carrying it. The totem gives you a generous timeline of 1 year to return it to its bloodline. Basically tells you that you're an impure bloodline. What a way to lower your self-esteem. Now that rumors have spread that you own the totem, everybody wants it. You're literally a walking gold mine. You receive tons of letters from people interested in it. From Queen Okarethi of Sentinel, to Gortwog, to King Gothred, they all want the totem for themselves, and they're willing to do anything to get it. Quite the dilemma you've put yourself in. Then you receive a letter from Lady Brysiana informing you to meet her so that you may give her the totem. Since you know her very well, you decide to meet her at Penwall Dairy and hand the totem to her. As soon as you hand it over, Queen Mother Nafalga's voice echoes in your mind. She tells you to pay her a visit in Shedungeon. As you head outside, you're met with assassins who've been sent to kill you. You deal with them and make your way out. You meet with Queen Mother Nafalga, and she instructs you to go to the Mentellan Crux to free the Mentella. You're instantly teleported to the Mentellan Crux, and you arrive in a dark area with floating islands. You make use of your levitation and elevators to navigate through them. You see your first enemy, the Frost Daedra, and you deal with it. After the floating islands, you navigate through more weird places like the Pyramid, the Overtuned Shrine, and the Fire Room. After walking for several kilometers, battling bats and daedras, among other creatures of the dark, you finally see the Mentella. As soon as you take the jewel, you're instantly teleported back to Shedungeon, where you meet and speak with Nafalga. She praises you and shows you the vision where your work reshapes history. The Underking finally rests in peace, the kingdoms in the Iliac Bay are united, and Orsinium is officially recognized as a sovereign nation. Your efforts have literally altered the course of time itself. You're racking up quite a list of achievements. And that is the entire story of The Elder Scrolls II: Daggerfall, the game that broke time itself and made us dive into the most complex political mystery in Elder Scrolls history. Okay, now we're getting to the juicy stuff. The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind was launched on the original Microsoft Xbox console in 2002. This time around, Bethesda made a bold move. Instead of massive adventures spanning many continents, they decided to zoom in on one single island, Vardenfell. It is located in the province of Morrowind. This unique approach made them pack the world with way more detail and lore than the previous games. Also, did I forget to mention the dramatic improvement in graphics? The year is 3E427. You're a prisoner being shipped to Morrowind under some weird, unknown circumstances. Emperor Uriel Septim VII has personally ordered your release. The reason? Well, nobody knows yet. All you know is that you've been selected for something big, a higher purpose of some sort, something tied to ancient prophecy. Turns out you're kind of a big deal. Your ship docks at the port of Ceda Need, and you're about to get your first taste of the unique culture of Morrowind. From giant mushroom houses, floating jellyfish, ash storms, hostile wildlife, and every single soul calling you an outsider. Welcome to Vardenfell, Outlander. You wake up on a prison ship to the voice of a fellow prisoner, a Dunmer. These are dark elves, and his name is Giab. Quite a weird looking fella, this one. The surprising thing is that he is quite friendly, considering you're both chained up. This is the start of your character creation. You pick your race from the 10 options. You got Nords, Imperialists, Bretons, Redguards, Altmer, Bosmer, Dunmer, Orcs, my personal favorite, Khajiit, and Argonians. You also pick a class and a birth sign, which grant special powers. The ship then docks at Ceda Need. You are processed by an Imperial named Celis Gravius, who hands you your release papers in a package.
Your papers, please.
He tells you to deliver the package to someone named Caius Casadus in the town of Balmora. That's it. No explanation, no context. Could even be something pretty lethal, but since you're under the mercy of those above you, you have no option but to comply. Morrowind is a pretty brutal place, so you'll prepare yourself at the small caves near town. You'll also upgrade your skills to prepare yourself for what's to come. When you're ready, you can choose the option of walking to Balmora or taking the Silt Rider, which is a giant bug that works as fast travel. I too would choose the bug. You arrive in Balmora and meet Caius Casadus in his house. It's a humble shack. Turns out he is a skooma-addicted blade master for the Blades, the Emperor's secret intelligence agency. He recruits you into the Blades and tells you to join a guild and come back when you're more experienced. After gaining some experience and ranking up in the guild, you return to Caius and are given your first real assignment: gather info about the Nerevarine prophecy and the 6th house. You then head to the Fighters Guild to talk to Hasfat and Tabalis.
Anytime now.
Before he offers whatever information he has, he needs a favor. He wants you to retrieve a Dwemer puzzle box from the ruins of Arkanthand. You agree, as usual, and venture into these ancient Dwemer ruins. And there, you're going to be fighting bandits in halls that are packed with mazes. The dungeon is also filled with all sorts of machinery and traps. After searching every corner, you finally find the artifact and return it.
Time now.
Hasfat then proceeds to tell you about House Dagoth, which is also known as the 6th House. It was destroyed after its leader betrayed the other great houses. However, there have been recent rumors that the 6th House is rising again with really weird creatures and cultists wearing scary golden masks while attacking travelers in the Ashlands. Caius then sends you to a desert city called Vivek City. It's a massive metropolis that is quite confusing. Its endless alleys will make you spend forever looking for people. In this city, you're tasked with tracking down specific informants. The first informant is Halia, a member of the Thieves Guild.
Fresh game.
He requests you to escort him through some thugs who despise his race with passion. You can hear their racist comments calling him a filthy lizard. Damn, that's gold, man. Telling him he belongs to the swamp with the rest of his kind. So you proceed to do what you do best, beat their racist ass up, and protect Halia. He thanks you, then proceeds to explain the history of the Ashlanders and their conflict with Dunmer and the Empire. You then proceed to meet Mera Milo, a priestess at the temple.
No, I don't think so.
If you're here for trouble.
She tells you about a book called The Progress of Truth, which argues that the Tribunal are not actual gods, but their power came from the Red Mountain and Dwemer tools. This is straight up heresy, and it shakes the entire foundation of the official religion of Morrowind. Through her, you learn about the Nerevarine prophecy. According to the ancient Dunmer legend, the great hero Nerevar will be reincarnated and return to drive out foreigners and restore Morrowind to glory. This prophecy is quite a big deal, and very racist, and many fake Nerevarines have shown up over the years only to be exposed as frauds or killed by the Tribunal Temple. This place truly is so racist and so xenophobic. Anyway, finally, you head into the sewers to find the third informant called Aedra and Daedra. You help her avoid a census and excise agent, and she shares with you some disturbing rumors. Smugglers across Morrowind are now working for the 6th House. They are well compensated and very secretive. So there must be something big that's moving underground. After gathering all this information, you travel back to Balmora and report to Caius. He's pleased and promotes you within the Blades. He then gives you your next mission. Investigate the Shilaku Ashlanders, a nomadic tribe that knows more about the Nerevarine prophecy than anyone. You head north to the Shilaku tribe, one of the 4 Ashlander tribes on Vonderfell. The journey to their camp is brutal. They live in one of the most uninhabitable places in all the land. There are dust storms that reduce visibility, cliff racers that attack from above, and the further you go, the stronger the enemies become. What a place. Feels like home. When you finally reach the camp, the tribesmen already hate your guts. They're fueled by distrust and hatred towards you, yet they haven't even met you yet. After earning enough goodwill, you will meet the leader of the tribe, Sul Matul, and the wise woman, Nibani Mesa. He gives you a task to prove yourself worthy. He tells you to retrieve a family heirloom, the Bonebiter bow, from a dangerous ancestral tomb filled with ghosts and skeletons. These are quite challenging to you, but to them, it's a mere test of character to see if you're willing to adapt to their culture instead of forcing your way through. You then make your way to the tomb, and immediately you enter, you're welcomed by a ferocious skeleton. After battling through the caves and obtaining the bow, you go back to Nibani Mesa, who finally opens up.
Welcome, friend. You're nearly a legend around here. Please, talk.
She tells you about the Lost Prophecies, a series of trials that the true Nerevarine must pass. When you return to Caius, he's excited but kinda worried. Excited because you might actually be the Nerevarine, but worried because the situation with the 6th house is escalating. Reports are also flowing in about some weird disease called corpus disease that turns people into deformed immortal monsters. Think The Walking Dead, but way uglier zombies. The disease is spreading from 6th house bases hidden in ancient Dunmer strongholds. Caius sends you to investigate one of these bases at a place called Ilunibi. It's a dark, scary cave with waterfalls and monsters. You enter the cave and fight your way through some corpus monsters and 6th house cultists. The deeper you venture into the caves, the darker and scarier it becomes. The 6th house cultists worship Daggerfall and willingly infect themselves with corpus. Talk about loyalty. Willingly infecting yourselves with zombie infection to appease your god, that's some top-level dedication right there. You keep fighting the corpus monsters with your sword and some cool-ass special powers as you go deeper into the cave. After fighting an ash vampire and defeating it, you find a note from Daggerfall himself. He calls you to the Nerevar and invites you to Red Mountain to reclaim your throne. Bro is creepy. As you were fighting the corpus monsters, something unexpected happened. You got infected with corpus. Of all diseases, man, that is one that you do not want. Now, you're a ticking time bomb. You exit the caves, and as you walk around, people want to be as far away from you as possible. You head back to Caius in full panic mode because you've contracted the dreaded disease. I too would crap my pants if I found out I have corpus disease and I'm going to turn into an ugly monster. Caius seems pretty calm and composed. He tells you that he only knows one person who might have a cure for the disease, Devaith Fear, an ancient Telvanni wizard who lived in a fortress known as Telfir. He orders you to get the disease cured. You make your way to Telfir, a haunted, mushroom-filled and waterlogged place with weird sea creatures. You swim your way through, fighting the various sea monsters until you reach the Tower of Telfir. You enter this stomach-looking house. Yeah, this house really looks like the inside of a stomach. It's so gross. One of Telfir's wives directs you to him. You finally meet him, and he's a 4,000-year-old wizard. Lucky for you, he does have the cure, but you gotta do something in return. If it were me, I would do anything I could to get a hold of that cure, because there's no way on earth I'm turning into a corpus monster. Devaith tells you to go into the Corpusarium, find a victim named Yagram Bagarn, and collect a pair of boots from him. You go into the Corpusarium and retrieve the boots from Yagram. You return to Devaith, and he gives you the potion. You drink it, and something amazing happens. The potion does not fully cure you, but it removes all the negative effects of the disease. So you're not technically cured, but you have a boost of strength and endurance. Devaith is eager to try out his potion on his other patients as well. You return to Caius and tell him everything. He's amazed that you're cured and tells you that you're now ready for the final steps. He had received orders to return to Imperial City, and he then promotes you to the highest rank in the Blades and leaves you in charge of the Morrowind operation. From here on out, you're on your own. With Caius now gone, you take over as the leader of the Blades in Morrowind. Your mission is clear. Find a way to defeat Daggerfall. You gather intelligence from the Tribunal Temple, Great Houses, and the Ashlanders. From the intelligence gathered, you learn that Daggerfall draws his power from the heart of Lorkhan, the heart of a god buried deep in Red Mountain. To defeat him, you need Kagranak's tools, Sunder, Keening, and Wraithguard. These legendary artifacts have the potential to tap the heart's power. First, you travel to the city of Vivec to meet Vivec, one of the 3 living gods of the Tribunal. The whole city is named after him. What a privilege. Just look at him, majestically levitating like a monk, the final boss of aura farming. On top of that, he's also, just kind of a strange creature. He's half Chimer, half Dunmer, and loves speaking in riddles. Gives you the Wraithguard and tells you where to find the other 2 tools, which will be used in destroying Daggerfall. You make your way to the Red Mountain, a vast dusty mountain with red skies and winds. This place looks like the biblically accurate version of hell. Literally. You need to infiltrate the 6th house strongholds and retrieve the tools. The first place is Adrosal, where you fight off ash vampires and claim Keening. You then proceed to enter Veminal, which is in the outer fortress. You fight your way across the crypts and finally take Sunder. With the 3 tools in your grasp, it's now time for the final battle. You enter Daggerfall's citadel, located in the deepest part of the Red Mountain, where the heart of Lorkhan is kept.
I wait for you there, where we last met countless ages ago.
The citadel is a nightmarish place filled with lava, corpus monsters, and 6th house cultists. You fight your way through them, as you always have since the very beginning. After fighting your way through, you finally reach the inner tower and come face to face with Daggerfall.
Welcome, Moon and Star. to this place where destiny is made.
Words cannot describe how ugly this man is. His head is wider than a frying pan. He literally looks like a walking lollipop. A lollipop with god-level powers. He begins talking to you, bit of a chit-chat here and there, trying to convince you to join his dark side. Promises of power and whatnot, but we both know how these speeches usually end, with the bad guys skewered and dead. Seeing that you are adamant and decisive in your stance, the fight with Daggerfall begins. Daggerfall is an insanely powerful being. When damaged, he regenerates since he's connected to the heart. Killing him directly would be quite an uphill task, next to impossible. Instead of facing him directly, you run past him towards the heart of Lorcan itself, which is a massive organ suspended in the chamber. Armed with Sunder and Keening, you begin striking the heart repeatedly, destroying the connection with Daggerfall. The more you strike, the weaker Daggerfall grows. You finally strike it one last time, and the heart is destroyed. The 6th house collapses, and the threat is finally over. As you exit the Citadel, Azura appears to you and thanks you for fulfilling your destiny.
You no longer bear the burden of prophecy. You have achieved your destiny. You are free.
You are now the Nirn, the prophesied hero who saved Morrowind. You have transcended from a nameless prisoner to a godslayer, therefore fulfilling an ancient prophecy and altering the course of history forever. And that is the amazing story of The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind. The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion was launched in 2006, and Bethesda took a whole different direction with this one. After Morrowind's alien landscapes and mushroom towers, Oblivion decided to take players to a new place, Cyrodiil, the heart of the Empire itself. Rolling green hills, massive forests, and the gleaming white gold tower at the center of the Imperial City. The game is a classic fantasy brought to life, with stunning graphics, an upgrade from the previous games that just made people blow their minds. The year is 3E433. 6 years after the events of Morrowind. You're a prisoner locked up in Imperial City dungeons for unknown reasons. Seems like these games always seem to start at the very lowest point in a character's life. The Emperor is dead, and the barriers between Tamriel and Oblivion are crumbling. Daedric forces are pouring through. For some reason, you are the only one who can stop all of this. Whew, that's a lot to take in, but no worries. We're going to take it step by step, as we always do. You wake up in your cell to the sound of footsteps.
What's this prisoner doing here? This cell is supposed to be off limits.
The Emperor himself, along with his bodyguards, called the Blades, walk to your prison cell and enter it. The Emperor's son was assassinated, and he's next. So it turns out there's an escape route that runs right through your cell. Seems Lady Luck is on your side today. One of the Blades is a red guard named Boris. He is suspicious of you at first, but the Emperor trusts you immediately since he says you are the one from his dreams. He's quite the superstitious man. He tells you to follow them through the sewers beneath the Imperial City. As you're making your way through, assassins spun from the darkness and begin attacking you. These are not ordinary killers. They're members of the Daedric cult called the Mythic Dawn and are here to eliminate the entire Septum bloodline. You fight them off alongside other guards, but Captain Renault dies in the attack. You fight your way through the assassins while protecting the Emperor. Eventually, you reach the final room, and this is when disaster strikes. A secret door opens behind the Emperor, and a Mythic Dawn assassin stabs him. You fight off the remaining assassins, and you kill them off. With his dying breath, the Emperor hands you the Amulet of Kings and tells you to find Joffrey. He knows you're special despite his guards not really understanding why. What are the odds? Once again, we are the chosen one. Wow. Boris is devastated by the death of the Emperor, but he tells you to take the amulet to Weenen Priory near the city of Coral, where Joffrey is. He's the Grand Master of the Blades, so he's most likely to know what to do with it. There have also been rumors of another heir, so Joffrey is the right person to know about all this. You make your way out of the sewers and step out of Cyrodiil for the first time. The world is huge, beautiful, it's completely open. The lush green forests, the clear skies, and the blue rivers make it one of the most iconic fantasy worlds, period. You can go anywhere, you can do anything, but first, you've got a job to do. You make your way to Weenen Priory, a large house past the forest. You meet Joffrey, and he's shocked that the Emperor is dead, even more shocked that you carry the Amulet of Kings. He then tells you the truth about the amulet. It's the key to lighting the dragon fires in the Temple of the One. As long as the dragon fires burn, the barriers between Tamriel and Oblivion stay strong. But with the Emperor gone and no heir to light them, these barriers are gradually weakening. It seems you are in luck. Joffrey confirms that there is indeed an heir. Uriel Septim had an illegitimate son named Martin.
His name is Martin. He serves Akatosh in the chapel in the city of Kvatch, south of here.
He says that he's a priest in the chapel of Akatosh, in the city of Kvatch. Joffrey sends you to find Martin and bring him back to safety, since if the assassins were to find out about his existence, he could be in mortal danger. The journey to Kvatch is such a beautiful one. There's open roads, vineyards, beautiful trees. You're literally sightseeing while going on a very important mission. Definitely a step up from making your way through hell in the last game. As you approach Kvatch, something seems wrong. The skies are no longer blue and clear as they were during your travel. They've turned blood red. You reach the entrance, and you're shocked by what you're seeing before you. What lies just in front of you is an Oblivion gate, a massive portal to hell. Daedra. Demonic creatures are pouring out of it, destroying everything around you. You fight your way closer to the Oblivion Gate and meet Savli and Matthias, captain of the Kvatch Guard. He tells you that they've lost the city and they can't get into the city to help those trapped since the Oblivion Gate is blocking their way. Martin is probably with them, but to get to the city, you need to close the Oblivion Gate. Savlian is unsure if you will survive, but you insist on going since there's no other way. And as for you, you're quite used to facing danger. I mean, you faced quite worse than this, so it's no biggie, right? So you do what any hero does. You walk straight into hell. Inside the gate, you're in a nightmarish landscape. From beautiful forests and rivers outside, to rivers of lava, floating islands, twisted spires, and Daedra everywhere. It's quite a dramatic change of scenery. You fight Scamps, Clanfears, and Dremora as you make your way to the main tower. You reach where the Sigil Stone is. It's a stone that holds the gate together. It's a source of power for the gate. You walk towards it and grab it. The gate collapses, and it disappears. With the gates closed, you and Savlian lead the guards into Kvatch to rescue the survivors. The city is basically a ruin at this point. You fight your way through burning buildings and charred bodies. The Daedra have destroyed everything in the city, turning it from a once beautiful city to nothing but chaos. You push towards the chapel. When you get inside, you find a handful of terrified civilians who are happy to see your arrival. You walk around the chapel and find a priest at the far corner with black robes. This is Martin.
Yes, I'm a priest. Do you need a priest? I don't think I'll be much help to you.
You drop the bombshell on him. He's the Emperor's son. At first he's shocked and does not believe it to be true.
No, you must have the wrong man. I am a priest of Akatosh. My father was a farmer.
He believes that his father was a farmer. The truth couldn't be further away, but you explain everything to him. The assassination, the amulet, the Oblivion Gate, Joffrey's message. After that, he begins to see that you are telling the truth. After helping secure Kvatch from the remaining hordes of monsters, you convince Martin to go with you to the Wayne Priory.
So let's continue on to Wayne Priory. The Wayne Priory then.
He's humble, kind, and clearly not ready to be emperor, but he's all that's left of Uriel. The survival of the empire now rests on the shoulders of a small town priest. You bring Martin back to Wayne, but just as you are arriving, you hear some devastating news. The priory is under attack by Mythic Dawn. The whereabouts of Joffrey are unknown, so you must go and check whether he's alive or not. You begin fighting the assassins with the help of Martin. You make your way into the priory and find Joffrey alive and well. He's also shocked by the sudden attack and reveals that he had come to take the Amulet of Kings. You go with Joffrey to confirm if the amulet is still safe, and you're met with a shocking discovery.
They've taken it! The Amulet of Kings is gone! The enemy has defeated us at every turn!
You have gained an heir, but have lost the amulet. So should we call it even? Joffrey suggests that you take Martin somewhere safe, since if he's captured as well, all hope will be lost. He says Martin needs to be taken to the Cloud Ruler Temple, a hidden fortress in the mountains near Bruma. It's the safest place he can be in Cyrodiil. You take Martin to the Cloud Ruler Temple, where he's guaranteed safety. But now to the other problem, the missing Amulet of Kings. Joffrey tells you to track down the Mythic Dawn and recover it. He sends you to the Imperial City to meet Boris. You enter Luther Broad's boarding house, where Boris is located. You realize an assassin is following him. You decide to do what you do best, kick their ass. After killing the assassin, you take a mysterious book from him. The book is one of the sacred texts of the Mythic Dawn cult called the Commentaries of the Mysterium Xarxes. You tell Boris about the book. He directs you to go to Tarmina, a scholar at Arcane University. She's a walking encyclopedia about everything related to Daedric cults. You head to Tarmina and have a chat with her. She explains how the Mythic Dawn hides secret messages in their books. She directs you to find the other 4 volumes, which have a secret message that reveals the location of the secret shrine. You finally find all 4 volumes of the book and return it to Tarmina with them. She helps you decode the secret message, and it leads you to a specific location in the Imperial City. You come across a hidden tomb that glows red. You touch it, and it reveals the location of the Mythic Dawn shrine on your map. You next make your way to Arius and find the Mythic Dawn's hideout. You are greeted by a doorkeeper who mistakes you for a recruit. You play along with your newfound title, and you are led inside to meet Mankar Cameron, the leader of the Mythic Dawn. You find him giving a speech to his followers.
The weak shall be winnowed. The timid shall be cast down. The mighty shall tremble at my feet and pray for pardon.
Bro missed his calling as a motivational speaker. After he finishes his speech, Mankar opens a portal to his realm known as Paradise and steps inside. He vanishes inside the portal, and he takes the amulet with him. Lucky for you, all hope is not lost. He's left behind the Mysterium Xarxes. You are brought forward to be initiated into the cult, and you're told to kill a prisoner as part of your initiation. You do it. Sorry buddy, I know the stakes are just too high. When you have the chance, you sneak in and grab the book, then fight your way out of the hideout. You take the book to Martin at Cloud Ruler Temple. He studies it and says that it's used to open a portal to Paradise, but to open the portal requires 4 special items which will be used to perform the ritual.
Xarxes mentions 4 items needed for the ritual, but so far I have only deciphered one of them. The blood of a Daedra Lord.
Martin needs 4 items to open the portal. The first item is the blood of a Daedra Lord, which means you need a Daedric artifact. Lucky for you, there are 15 Daedric shrines scattered across Cyrodiil, and each one is dedicated to a different Daedric prince. You head to Prince Azura's shrine and obtain an artifact after being sent to some quick but twisted side quest.
For your service, take this token, that your deeds might be entered in the Book of Fate.
You head back and give Martin Azura's star. You are then summoned by Joffrey regarding an urgent incident. Joffrey tells you of a new Oblivion gate in Bruma and tells you to go help the others in fighting it. You head in and fight your way through. You head to the tower of the gate and gain the sigil stone, collapsing it. You're now an experienced Hellstopper. Good job. You've taught the other guards what to do in case any other gate opens, so maybe next time they won't be totally reliant on you. Why do you have to do everything in these games?
Now that I've seen how it's done, I think my guardsmen and I can handle any new gates that open near Bruma.
You return to Joffrey, and he tells you of the need to seek allies in case the gate opens again and finds them ill-equipped. Meanwhile, Martin has discovered the second item needed for the ritual, the blood of the divine. The armor is kept in a shrine beneath the ruins of Sancretor. You head there, retrieve the armor, bring it to Martin.
Armor of Tiber Septim himself. Joffrey will be amazed to see it.
It reveals to you the third item needed, the Great Welkin Stone, located in Miskarkand. You head to the ruins, fight your way through, and secure the stone. I promise this is a very good game, but listing it like this does make it sound a little boring. You head back. You're told the fourth and final artifact is the Great Sigil Stone, and you're not going to like how it will be obtained. There's only one way. Allow the Mythic Dawn to open a Great Oblivion Gate and then seal the stone. What a plan. When the Mythic Dawn are planning to open a great gate outside Bruma to obliterate the city, instead of preventing them, you're gonna have to allow it, and then rush inside and steal the Great Sigil Stone before their siege engine can come through. That is the entire plan devised by you and the rest of your allies. The day of the battle arrives, and the Oblivion Gate opens. Daedra pour out in droves, and the battle begins. As the battle ensues, you enter the Great Gate and head towards the top. You grab the Great Sigil Stone, and the gate collapses, winning the battle for Bruma. Martin performs the ritual, and a portal appears. You enter, you're teleported to Paradise. Your task is to kill Mankar and recover the amulet. The place indeed does look like Paradise. Who wouldn't love to live in a place like this? Finally, you reach Mankar's majestic throne room.
My father is waiting to welcome you to Karak Agayalor.
He attacks you together with his 2 children, Ruma and Raven Cameron. The fight is pretty brutal. It's one for the After a long and gruesome fight, you manage to kill Mankar and his children. Soon as he dies, Paradise collapses. You quickly grab the amulet, make your way back to Cloud Ruler Temple. You escort Martin to the Temple of the One, where he can light the dragon fires. You fight your way through Mehrunes Dagon, a 4-story tall god capable of destroying buildings with his steps. Martin reaches the temple and shatters the amulet, letting out the avatar of Akatosh. The giant dragon made of flames fights with Mehrunes Dagon and defeats it. The threat is officially over. Martin is gone, but he sacrificed himself for the greater good. He would have made quite an emperor. Chancellor Akato names you champion of Cyrodiil.
Hereby proclaim you champion of Cyrodiil.
Good for you. You're out here collecting champion titles like Infinity Stones. Too many more. Okay, and that is the whole story of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. From a prisoner to the champion of Cyrodiil. What a transformation. Okay, nobody saw this coming. In April 2025, Bethesda and developer Virtuous dropped the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remastered, completely out of nowhere. No lengthy announcement, no hype, no nothing. They're like, here, it's out today, go and play it. People honestly went totally nuts. Minds were blown. The storyline is still the same beloved world of Cyrodiil, the same quest to close the jaws of Oblivion, but this time it's rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5 with a graphic overhaul that completely transforms the original 2006 game. When you compare them side by side, you're just left in awe by the gorgeous uplifts the game was given. I mean, look at those wonderful graphics. Oh my god. I want to kiss the developers for giving this game a much-needed makeover. The rolling hills of Cyrodiil, the gleaming white gold tower, and the landscapes of Oblivion are now giving us eyegasms for their insanely good graphics. I promise I'll never say eyegasms again. Other improvements include an updated UI, overhauled lighting and shadows, and greatly improved lip syncing. Storyline's exactly the same as we covered in the previous game, every single detail. 19 years later, Cyrodiil is still worth visiting, only this time it's gotten a state-of-the-art upgrade. Whether you're a first-timer or a returning fan, it's the best way to experience one of Bethesda's finest games. Alright, here we go. The game that just won't die. The game singularly responsible for getting an entire generation into Dungeons and Dragons, into RPGs, and into video games in general. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. The game dropped in 2011 by Bethesda Studios, the 5th installment of our favorite franchise. The game is set 200 years after the events of Oblivion. We ended the previous game on a positive and prosperous note. The enemies defeated, the kingdom slowly picking up the pieces and choosing progress. Well, things don't go how you want them to go. The Empire has grown weaker since Oblivion. The dragon fires are out, and Skyrim, the cold northern province of Tamriel, is tearing itself apart. 200 years is a long time. Generations have come and gone, and the leadership as well. The High King of Skyrim has been murdered. A man named Ulfric Stormcloak is the man responsible. He killed the High King by shouting him to death using a powerful voice-based magic called a Thume. And now the entire province is locked in civil war. On one side, there are the Stormcloaks, who want Skyrim to break free from the Empire. On the other hand, there is the Imperial Legion, who want the province to stay loyal to the Empire, and their disagreement has fueled the province into an all-out war. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because something far worse and more brutal is coming. The Elder Scrolls predicted it. Dragons, which are often thought to be extinct, are making their way back to Tamriel, and leading the return is Alduin, known as the World Eater. He's the firstborn of the god Akatosh himself. He's a powerful dragon, and so ancient that the ancient Nords could not even kill him. They only managed to banish him. Well, the World Eater is back, and with such a nickname, you should expect nothing more than death and destruction along its path. The year is 4E201. You're a prisoner in an Imperial cart, heading to the chopping block in a town called Helgen. You've no clue why you were arrested, but none of that matters anymore because your problems are about to be fixed by a very well-timed winged creature. The cart rolls up into Helgen alongside a group of Stormcloak prisoners.
Why do you think? End of the line.
One of them is Ulfric Stormcloak himself, the man who ignited the fire of the whole war. There is also a general named Tullius, who's ready to have everybody executed on the spot, no questions asked. One by one, you're taken to the chopping block, and you watch your fellow prisoners get executed. Pretty brutal stuff to see. I know you're about pissing yourself right now, since you might be next. Well, your fears come true, and you indeed are next. You're led to the chopping block, and made to kneel down. You place your head on the block and stare at the executioner's large blade covered in blood. Just as the axe was going up, about to land on your precious neck, Alduin shows up in his full might. He begins leveling down the entire town, blasting hot flames. Chaos ensues, and everything's on fire. In the midst of all this chaos, a Stormcloak soldier, Ralof, tells you to run with him. You run together through the burning keep, dodging fireballs and falling towers. You fight a bunch of guards along the way. You crawl out through the sewers and finally into the open countryside below. You see Skyrim for the first time. Snowy mountains, pine forests, and frost in the air. It's a cold and massive world, practically endless. The world is open and you can go absolutely anywhere you want. But first things first, you head to a small town nearby called Riverwood to figure out what just happened. You enter Riverwood, and it's a very quiet place, kind of like the Shire from Lord of the Rings. People are living their normal lives, unaware of the fact that a dragon just wiped out an entire town several miles away. You head into a shop, and a shopkeeper named Lucan Valeris tells you that a golden claw was stolen from his shop, and he wants it back. The claw is in a Nordic dungeon called Bleak Falls Barrow.
We have to go through town and across the bridge to get to Bleak Falls Barrow. You can see it from here, though.
You begin your very first mission of the game. You enter the dungeon and fight your way through Nordic warriors that have been protecting the tombs for centuries. There's also large spiders in the tombs that have nested along their walls. You fight the undead warriors scattered across the tombs. At the end of the dungeon, you find something incredible, a word wall. It is a massive carved stone wall covered in ancient dragon language. As you approach it, one of the words glows and burns itself into your mind. You've now learned your first shout. Don't worry, you don't quite grasp what it means for now, but you will soon. You take the claw and head back to Riverwood. Lucan is happy you have completed his small quest. You head out and travel to Whiterun to warn the local Jarl about the dragon attack. Whiterun is the first real city that you encounter. Tall stone walls, and a great hall called Dragon's Reach, located at the top of the tallest hill in Whiterun. You go in and talk to Jarl Balgruuf the Greater about the dragon threat. He seems curious and grateful for your information. He sends his best warrior, Irilith, and a group of guards to deal with the dragon that has been attacking the western watchtower just outside the city walls. You go with them. You arrive at the watchtower, and it has been completely torched by a dragon. Just as you were investigating, the dragon emerges from the mountains. The dragon's name is Mirmulnir. He lands next to you and begins throwing bright red flames right towards your face. You fight with all your weapons and your might, trying to kill it. Arrows and blades rain on his body until you finally finish the dragon off with your sword. His body burns away, and the power of his soul is directly absorbed into you. The guards are shocked by your powers and call you the Dragonborn, who is capable of using the Thu'um without training. One of the guards tells you that the Dragonborn is the only one capable of stopping Elduin, and that, my friend, is none other than you. You head back to Dragon's Reach, and Jarl names you the Thane of Whiterun. An honorable title, befitting of a dragon slayer. You then make your way up the 7,000 steps to the Monastery of the Greybeards, who are monks that have spent their lives studying the Thu'um atop the highest mountain in Tamriel. You finally arrive at High Hrothgar after enduring the brutal journey to the top. You meet the Greybeard spokesman, Arngeir. He asks you to demonstrate your unrelenting force shout, to which you confidently oblige. They confirm you are indeed the Dragonborn, and you begin your lessons on the various techniques the masters have up their sleeves. They teach you how to make the unrelenting force shout stronger and use the whirlwind. After this training, you head to Riverwood and meet up with Delphine, an innkeeper who has been watching you. She's one of the last survivors of the Blades, an ancient order of dragon hunters. Remember them from the old games? She tells you about a dragon burial site outside the town of Kynesgrove. She also tells you that the return of dragons is not a random occurrence. They're being resurrected at the Dragon Burial Mound, and she might have a clue who's doing it. You locate the burial site and make your way there. Alduin is there too, hovering above you. A massive black dragon, which you met at the start of the game. Remember him? It's pretty hard to forget. Alduin hovers above the burial site and chants some ancient dragon words. The ground breaks open and a dead dragon emerges from the ground. You watch as all this unfolds before your eyes. Alduin spots you hiding next to Delphine. He speaks to you in dragon language, but is disappointed that you do not know it. He then commands the resurrected dragon, Soloknir, to kill you. The battles with dragons make the game more epic compared to its predecessors. Fighting dragons is such an adrenaline-filled quest. When they land, it shakes the entire screen. It's so intense. You manage to kill it and absorb its soul. This confirms to Delphine that you truly are the Dragonborn. She suspects the Thalmor are responsible for the dragon resurrections. She devises a plan for you to attend their annual party as a guest inside the Thalmor embassy. The embassy is located in Solitude. You infiltrate your way inside and steal the key to the secret section of the embassy. Someone notices you, so you fight your way through the Thalmor soldiers and the wizards below. You make your way back to Delphine, who's curious to know what you've learned while in the embassy. She then tells you to find Esbern, who's another surviving blade, and he's hiding in the sewers of Riften. He has apparently spent decades studying the Elder Scrolls prophecy about Alduin's return. Delphine sends you to find him before the Thalmor do. You find Esbern hiding behind closed doors. He's paranoid that the world is ending. Well, he's partially right. You convince him to come with you. At first, he's hesitant, but then he agrees.
One moment. I know time is of the essence, but mustn't leave secrets for the Thalmor. There's one more.
You take him to Riverwood, and then they meet with Delphine. They discuss Alduin's wall and how it is said that ancient heroes used a special shout against Alduin, the type of shout that could bring a dragon down from the sky. But the knowledge is almost forgotten. No living person could know it, except Parthenax. You climb to the very peak of the throat of the world to go and find Parthenax. You fight Ice Race along the way as you go higher up. You finally reach the peak and find Parthenax. He's an ancient dragon who has been up there for thousands of years.
Dremyolok, greetings, Wundernik. I am Parthenax.
You talk to him and he confirms that the ancient heroes use Dragon Rend to defeat Alduin. But Parthenax cannot teach you this ancient technique. You need to find an Elder Scroll, the same one that was used to banish Alduin in the first place. If you're able to find it, and read it at the exact same spot where the first event happened, you might be able to witness Dragon Rend firsthand. The Elder Scroll is located in Blackreach, a large underground Dwemer city located beneath Skyrim. You head there, and fight your way through the ruins. You finally open Blackreach and enter. It's one of the most stunning locations in the entire game. You fight with snow elves who live underground and finally get the scroll and take it. You have it, the Elder Scroll. You take the scroll back to the throat of the world and stand at the exact spot where the Ancient Ones made their stand, and then you read it. Time fractures, and you watch a vision of Nord heroes fighting Alduin in the same spot thousands of years ago. You see them use Dragon Rend and absorb the shout directly from the vision. Just as you finish learning the Dragon Rend, Alduin himself arrives. This is your first real battle with him. He swoops in, shooting fire towards you. Luckily, you're not alone. Parthenax is fighting him in the air, while you're on the ground. You then hit him with the Dragon Rend shout, and he lands on the ground in pain. That blow dealt some good damage. You fight him on the ground, and just as you're about to defeat him, he gains strength and flies away. You now need to find him and end it once and for all. For you to go where Alduin went, you need to find a dragon who could take you there, and that dragon is none other than Oedving. You set a trap at Dragon's Reach in Whiterun. You call out his name, and he emerges from the skies. You manage to trap him and begin interrogating him on the whereabouts of Alduin.
He has traveled to Sovngarde to regain his strength.
He tells you that he's in Sovngarde, the Nordic afterlife. He agrees to fly you to Skuldafn, a Nordic ruin near the portal to Sovngarde. You reach Skuldafn and fight your way through until you reach a dragon priest named Nakrin, who guards the portal. You fight him off and enter Sovngarde. You walk towards the Hall of Valor inside Sovngarde, where you meet three ancient Nord heroes. The three ancient heroes are Gormlyeth Goldenhilt, Haakon One-Eye, and Feldir the Old. They're actually the three heroes you saw in the vision who defeated Alduin the first time.
But with 4 voices joined, our valor combined, we can blast the mist and bring him to battle.
Look at them, they're so cool. They agree to help you in the fight against Alduin. The 4 of you call him out using your shout, and he appears above you. The legendary fight begins. The 4 of you lash at him with all your powers and your might. You hit him with Dragon Rend, bows, arrows, and blades. You fight ferociously until finally he is defeated. With the 4 of you, Alduin is no match against your power. His body's disintegrated into ashes and vanishes. He is no more. Alduin is dead, and the world survives again. The dragons who served him now bow their heads to you. You are the last Dragonborn. Well, technically you meet another Dragonborn in the DLC, but whatever. For now, you're the last Dragonborn. And that is the entire story of Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. From a prisoner who's about to get his head chopped off to a dragon slayer. I think this one has the most impressive power scaling, if you ask me. Okay, now let's talk about all the games that aren't mainline entries. So imagine it's 1997, Morrowind is coming, Bethesda promised it, fans are begging for it. The only thing is, it's not ready yet. So what do you do when your next big game isn't finished? You release something to tide everybody over. Enter Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire, released in 1997 for MS-DOS. It's originally planned as an expansion pack for Daggerfall, but it ended up becoming the first ever Elder Scrolls spin-off. The game takes place in Tamriel's Battlespire, magical training facility for elite Imperial battle mages. Your character is known as the Apprentice, a trainee who's on their final day of assessment. Things are going pretty well, just a normal day at wizard school, until Mehrunes Dagon, the same one from Oblivion, crashes the party. His forces pour into the Battlespire and murder all who are inside. Your partner's captured, you're the only one left standing. What a graduation ceremony. Unlike the other Elder Scrolls games, Battlespire strips almost everything back. There's no open world, no towns, no side quests. Basically, everything that makes Elder Scrolls epic has been removed. What's left is a linear dungeon crawler spread across 7 handcrafted levels. Despite all these shortcomings, the game has its advantages. There's great mechanics whereby you can talk with literally anybody. You can even convince some enemies to stand down. I would imagine convincing an enemy like Alduin to stand down would be a pretty tough task, but if you were charismatic enough, you could. Using one word, I could describe Battlespire as a curiosity. A tough, janky, occasionally rewarding curiosity with a fantastic premise, but it needed more time to perfect. It's like it was released prematurely, hence the many mishaps like, I don't know, clunky combat. I would advise those who want to experience the game to go with low expectations and accept that the game will kill you in ways that have nothing to do with your skill. 1 year after Battlespire, Bethesda tried something totally different from the norm, something that has never been tried before in the franchise. I wonder why. Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard. The game was released in 1998. Made a bold choice to do away with the RPG rulebook entirely. There's no character creation, no stat customization, no skill trees at all. Basically, the game just looks empty. You play as Cyrus, a Redguard mercenary and retired pirate who receives a letter about his estranged sister, Izara, who goes missing on the island of Stros Makai. It's located off the coast of Hammerfell. Stros Makai itself is such an exotic place, a sun-scorched town sitting right at the crossroads of Imperial politics, piracy activities, and Dwemer ruins beneath its surface. It's a lot going on for such a small island. Unraveling its secrets is half the fun of the game. The other half is left to the story and characters. And guess what? You'll never believe why these siblings are estranged. Well, Cyrus killed his sister's husband, so yeah, there's that. Despite being estranged, Cyrus goes to find her anyway. The game is set 400 years before the events of Arena, making it one of the earliest time periods in the Elder Scrolls universe. Redguard is a fascinating experiment that maybe deserved better execution. I say that just to be generous. 22 years after Redguard, Bethesda decided to try another spin-off. This time around, they aimed for your phone. The Elder Scrolls Blades was launched in 2020. It arrived with a big pitch. A full Elder Scrolls game on your mobile device. You play as a member of the Blades, the legendary order of Imperial agents, dragon hunters. The Blades have been forced into exile, and you return to your hometown only to find it completely destroyed. The story asks you to rebuild and uncover why the Bloodfall Queen sent mercenaries to level the place. The combat in the game is, honestly, pretty good for a mobile game. It also has a player versus player arena and an endless abyss mode, which lets you only fight. Nothing else but pure violence, which is pretty enjoyable, honestly. Okay, now this one decided, you know what? To hell with the usual dungeon dragon hunting cliches, let's try something totally different. This game puts you at a card table. The Elder Scrolls Legends was launched in 2017. It's a free-to-play collectible card game set in the world of Tamriel. Built for PC and mobile. There are over 1,000 cards in the full set, covering every corner of the Scrolls universe. Our classic enemies and heroes were pulled straight from across the franchise's location. However, I got some bad news regarding the game. It's no longer supported since Bethesda shut down active development and the servers closed in 2024. I guess not many people were into card games, or, well, probably just not this one. And that's it, folks. From a prisoner waking up in a sewer in Cyrodiil, to a prisoner about to lose their head in Helgen, to an apprentice trapped in burning Battlespire, this franchise has really outdone itself in making the character start right at rock bottom. It's been so fun recapping these. The Elder Scrolls has been building this world since 1994, and somehow it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better. I have very high hopes for Elder Scrolls 6, if it ever comes out. Feel free to click the link on the video on screen to watch another one of our videos. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.